What's good? This is Boulevards from Raleigh, North Carolina at WNXP, bringing that Southern fried funk for your ear holes. Let's keep this thing going. This song's called How Do You Feel? All right now, y'all. How you feeling out there, brother? And how you feeling out there, sister, you dig? If you're the word, sing along with me now. How do you do? How do you feel? How do you do? How do you feel? Right. How do you do? How do you feel? How do you do? How do you feel? I should be go, wake up all night, stressing back upon the baby. To want to eat, but I'd rather give you and open up the pantry, nothing but in. Sing on. But something's wrong with me. I think I had enough, no time to waste. My girl to myself, trying to be the case. I ran out the look, God knows my fate. But something's wrong with me. I think I had enough, no time to waste. My girl to myself, trying to be the case. I ran out of luck, God knows my fate. Go down. How do you do? How do you feel? How do you feel out there now? How do you do? How do you feel? How do you feel out there, sister? Come on now. Yeah. How do you do? How do you feel? God. How do you do? How do you feel? Ooh, good now. Come on now. I sold my soul to the Boulevards. Yeah. I bought a bouquet for my lady last week. I tossed about, sit down my DV.
Oh, that's what she called me now.
Yeah, I shouted down, come and die in the teeth. Alright, I'm singing on my neck. But something's wrong with me. I think I had enough, no time to waste. My girl took my son, trying to be the case. I ran out the look, knows my fate. But something's wrong with me. I think I had enough, no time to waste. My girl took my son, trying to be the case. I ran out the look, knows my fate. Come on now, y'all. I'm walking like a dog, walking like a dog. How do you do? How do you feel? How do you feel out there, mama? How do you do? How do you feel? How do you feel out there, daddy? How do you do? How do you feel? Alright. How do you do? How do you feel? Come on now, y'all. How do you do? How do you feel? How do you do? How do you feel? How do you do? How do you feel? Alright. Oh goodness, yeah. How do you do? How do you feel? How you feeling out there, brother? Are you feeling good? How do you do? How do you feel? How you feel out there, sister? Top of the morning, you dig? How do you do? How do you feel? Alright. Top of the morning, top of the morning. Let's get this, let's get this, let's get this. This next song's called Better Off Dead. Let's keep this thing going. Something's wrong with me, and I can barely leave until my pain relieves. I passed the bottle of me, I know you're stalking me. That what can I take or see? But something's wrong with me. I need a hit to see. But tell me I'm not. before I say goodbye. And don't tell me a lie. I'll be better off there. I'll be better off there. I call my better half and tell him life's a rap. And no, I can't relax. The bottle holds me back. Yeah, I know it's got to be. Where can I take a seat? But something's wrong with me. I need a hit disease. Tell me I'm alive before I say goodbye. Don't tell me loud now, sugar. I'll be better off there. I'll be better off there. Right now, Julian. Bring it on now, Boulevards. Tell me I'm alive before I say goodbye. And don't tell me a lie. I'll be better off there. I'll be better off there. Money's getting low. I got nowhere to go. My boss told me to go. The bottle tastes cold. A nose is stopping me. Where can I take a seat? But something's wrong with me. I need a hit disease. Tell me I'm alive before I say goodbye. And don't tell me a lie. Woo! I'll be better off there. I'll be better off there. Oh goodness, huh? Now rock with us if you're feeling good out there. Come on now. Tell me I'm alive before I say goodbye. And don't tell me a lie, yeah. I'll be better off there. I'll be better off there, yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all. Better off dead. This next song is called Modern Man. You dig off Electric Cowboy, born in Carolina mud. Let's get this thing going. A long way to go from safety. I'm looking for a hand now that can save me. He don't stand for nothing anymore. Trying to make himself a good home. Pick up your feet and make a stand. By the way, cause I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Lost in the grind of the day to day. What is that you can't explain? What is is that you can't explain? What is that you can't explain?
Oh, we give some of that Southern pride now, y'all.
A long way to go from safety. I'm looking for a hand that could save me. He always seems to be afraid. A lot of mistakes fall with these graves. And pick up your feet and make a stand.
All right now.
And by the way, I'm the man. Lost in the grind of the day to day. What is that you can't explain? What is that you can't explain? What is that you can't explain? A long way to go from safety. I'm looking for a hand that can save me. A long way to go, alright, that can save me. I'm looking for a hand that can save me, that can save me, that can save me, that can save me, that can save me. Oh well, that can save me, that can save me. Bring it down now.
Boulevards from Raleigh, North Carolina. You did digging that Southern Fried Funk. Thank y'all so much for coming out with us. WNXP. We out.
This is 91.1 WNXP. I am Marquise Munson. Very early Monday here, but I got my energy this morning because I just heard a performance from Boulevards, the man standing right next to me. How's it going today?
Chilling, man. It's going all right. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for coming by the studio.
Oh, like that polo, like that Ralph Lauren shirt.
You know, I actually should have wore some boots. I think we're a little bit off. We weren't really connected to what we're gonna wear today.
It's all good, man.
I could have easily wore some cowboy boots and a hat today too.
Yeah, I love me some Ralph Lauren. It's one of my favorite brands.
So you performed last night at the Basement.
Oh yeah.
How does it feel to be back on the road performing these new songs?
Well, it's good, man. You know, like I said, COVID, was a setback for a lot of artists, including myself, man. So like, it feels good to be out, feel the energy of like familiar faces, unfamiliar faces, be back on the road with like guys that I like being able to tour with, be able to vibe with, and like be able to transcend that energy from the stage to the crowd. I mean, that's awesome. Just be able to do it,
Yeah, and I was talking before we turned the cameras on. I was talking about how you were just letting the music dance for you. There's no choreography.
Nah,
in
no
this.
choreography.
It's like you just let
man.
the music take your body where it needs to be.
I've never considered myself a dancer or somebody that try to be trained and take lessons, man. Like that's never was my vibe, man. I just kind of just like feel whatever's coming to me, pretty much. Just vibing, grooving.
So your album, Electric Cowboy, Born in Carolina Mud, was released earlier this year, and it takes it back to your Carolina roots.
Yeah.
But you also say that Carolina, from a music side, doesn't get the respect that it deserves in a sense. So with this album, was that the goal for you to kind of educate people on the amount of music that is coming out of North Carolina?
I don't never say it was like an education moment. It just kind of just was like, yo, North Carolina's here, right? So like, there's so many artists besides myself that is out there doing dope stuff, right? And we get so lost in the mix because you got Nashville, you got DC, you got Philly, you got New York, you got Atlanta right here. And, North Carolina gets lost in the sauce a little bit. So there's so many dope artists that are doing like dope stuff. Of course, you have your J. Cole's, your Sylvan Essos, your American Aquariums, and all those people. But like there's so much more happening in the Raleigh, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Wilmington, Asheville scene that a lot of artists should know about. But for me, from my standpoint, it's just like, okay, this is this black dude bringing fresh modern funk, and he's from North Carolina. You know what I'm saying? He's not from New York. He's not from LA. He's not from Chicago. He's doing something that's original and that's fresh and that's dope. And it's, at the end of the day, it's just about making dope music. So.
Yeah, so what was different about the creative and production process making this album?
The biggest thing was letting go, because I'm so hands-on on doing a lot of things, and I had to have Blake from Duran Jones and Indications, and Adrian Casado from the Black Pumas, and Colin from Twin Peaks to kind of just help guide me, man. I had to like sit back, and that was really hard for me because I've always been like either self-produced, so I've always worked with people to kind of just like, yo, here's the track, you do your thing, and like this time I had guys saying like, no, this is how you should do this. You're going to totally change that. And I'm like, it hurts your feelings a little bit. But, at the same time, you have to trust a producer, because their goal is to actually produce you and actually help you make dope music, dope records, dope songs. And at the end of the day, that's the goal, right? Is to make dope music. That's all it is. Make bangers and make dope music. So
yeah, and I've heard, at least for Blake's sake, was it you sliding in DMs? Getting these collaborations?
Oh, yeah, man. So it was during COVID, man. And that's the whole thing. Even with New West, man, I'm pretty persistent when I'm trying to get things done. And I was like hitting up Blake, sending him like playlists and things that I love, and hitting up George from New West, kind of like stuff and demos that I was working on. And like it was always like, I never really took no for an answer. So I just kept like, okay, well, I kept working, kept going to the drawing board, like sending him whatever stuff that me and Blake were working on, and finally like he caved in and was like, okay, we got to put this out. So like, which was cool, man, because obviously that's hard work right there, right? So like, keep going back to the drawing board, right? Keep figuring out what doesn't work, what works, and that's what me and Blake were doing. We're just kind of just like working. And a lot of the songs that like, even on like the Boulevards EP, a lot of the stuff that I did during COVID was actually recorded on my iPhone. Like half of those songs were like weren't even recorded in like an actual studio. And like Blake, since he's just such a master and a good engineer, he was able to just flip the script on it and make it sound dope. So
yeah, when I listen to this album, when I listen to the songwriting approach of it, it seems like you're talking about a lot of heavy topics. But when I listen to it sonically, it kind of reminds me a lot of like what George Clinton or Sly and Curtis Mayfield was doing sonically, where it's just groovy, funky beats, but I'm really talking about some serious stuff. And I know you mentioned how much Carolina played a big influence on this record, but also did you draw back to some of those artists that you admired throughout your career?
Of course, man. And when my dad, he worked in radio for like 30 years, so like he was always playing like jazz, playing like funk and soul records in the house for me and my sister on Sundays and Saturdays. He would always tell me like, Jamil, if you want to be the best or if you want to perfect your craft, you got to listen to all types of music, right? Because if as a little kid, you always want to be cool, you want to fit in. So I was always listening to like rap or whatever was on the radio. But he would always give me CDs and records from the station, like all these like exclusive radio discs, and I listen to them when I try to study them and lock myself in the room and listen to like the Isaac Hayes of the world, the Curtis Mayfields of the world, listening to like George Clinton, the Funkadelic, and studying those records, and the Rick James like really helped me try to zone in on my craft. But I also was studying like a lot of top 40 music. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, some rap, but just kind of like find my sound and find what works for me. And it took me a while, and I'm still working on it. I'm still trying to find it and guide myself and try to like find the right groove for me. But I mean, all those influences, all those artists, man, without them, I mean, there's no Boulevards, obviously. There's none of that. And obviously those being black artists, because back in the day, like that's what covered the sound waves, right? You had like the Marvin Gayes, you had the Curtis Mayfields, you had the Ohio Players, you had like, Shuggy Otis and all these black artists doing really dope stuff now. And obviously, I feel like in this modern age, it needs more of that, right? It needs more of that. People of color doing like that funk and that soul stuff and being recognized for it.
Yeah, so I want to go back to the collaboration part of it. You performed Better Off Dead on this stage. Also features Nikki Lane, who also graced this stage as well. So how did that collaboration with you and Nikki Lane come about?
It kind of has happened organically and kind of also by accident, because there was a list of vocalists that I was looking into trying to get on this record, and try to fit the vibe. And it was just something about her voice that I thought was really like unique, and it didn't sound like your typical traditional soulful voice, R&B. And I wanted something that was different, that had a little bit more texture to it, a little more raspy. She kind of reminded me of the chick from The Kills that's in The Dead Weather. I forget her name, that plays with Jack White. And that's the kind of vibe that I was looking for. That was the vibe, and she just kind of like I wrote the verse, I sent it to her. She was able to lay it down, put her flair on it. You know, Blake was able to coach her and like kind of tell her what he wanted as well, and it just came out really dope, man. I mean, she was all for it. She was all about collaboration. She was all about just like making dope music. Because like at the end of the day, man, like I want to work with people that the music and the art is always going to come first. At the end of the day, it's all about making like. I try to keep it simple when I'm writing songs, when I'm going to the studio. I was like, I just want to make dope music. That's the end of the day. It's dope because like it's either dope or not dope. But for me, it's like pretty simple. Like at the end of the day, it's like let's just make dope songs and write dope records.
Speaking of dope, before I let you go, I have to mention, we don't have it here with us, but the album cover of this record is absolutely amazing. As someone who loves Marvel and loves comic books, it gives you that feel for it. So was that the thought process for you coming up with that?
So like a lot of people don't know about me, man, but like when I was a kid, man, I used to like collect like X-Men, Marvel cards, DC cards, and I used to go to school and trade them with friends all the time. You know what I'm saying? We like try to hustle each other and trade like cards, and I used to like beg my dad on Sundays to take me to like the comic book store and like, you know, I was always watching X-Men, Batman at like 3 o'clock after school and trying to watch all the cool stuff, man, and like always drawing. My mom bought me coloring books and all this stuff, man. So, I mean, I had to bring that flair. I wanted to kind of like combine like the comic world with blaxploitation films together, right? And Western, right? And I reached out to Benjamin Marr. He's done stuff for like Freddie Gibbs and like Czarface, and he's out of Canada. He does really dope graphic novel type art, and he was all about the vision, man. I was like, you know, I want to like mix with some Django, Lone Ranger, you know, Shaft type vibes, you know, black man on a horse trying to attack and like run away from like his demons. Basically, that's what the cover is, right? You know, so we just want to do something that was really striking and very, very, you know, at the end of the day, just dope, you know, very dope, you know, and obviously the art expresses the music and that's the vibe for it. It has to reflect the music behind it.
Well, the art is great. The music is great.
Thank
Electric
you, man.
Cowboy, Born in Carolina Mud. Out right now. Boulevards just graced our stage. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.